Hey guys, Lucky Spade here, bringing you the first part of the Greenskin update preview for Lucky's Overhaul. Today we're going to be looking at several new features for the mod, including a full unit preview for each of the subcultures, new campaign features, and a brand new type of skill tree for the Greenskin Lords. So as you can see, the Greenskins are now clearly divided into three distinct subcultures. You've got the Goblins, the Orcs and the Savage Orcs. Each subculture will have access to different lords, units, buildings and tech trees, though they will still play in a similar manner on the campaign map. So let's take a look at what units are going to be available to each of the subcultures. First thing I want to show you today are the shared units, and these are the units that will be available to all three of the subcultures. So that means regardless of which faction you choose to play as, you'll be able to recruit all of these units in a campaign. So running through them, we've got the Goblin Archers and the Goblin Stickers and Stabbers. Should probably point out at this point that a number of basic melee infantry units have been divided into Stickers and Stabbers, and this should hopefully solve the Greenskins problem with a lack of anti-large infantry. We've also got the usual Wolf Riders and the Goblin Wolf Chariot. So these 6 units here are uncapped, and what that means is you can recruit as many of these as you want in a campaign. This means that if you need to fill out an army and you've reached the cap on all your other units, you can throw some of these guys in and they'll act as a pretty poor meat shield. Next, let's look at the monsters. So the Giant and the Trolls you guys will be familiar with. New unit here is the Stone Trolls. So as you can expect, these units have a much higher armor value than regular Trolls, along with a sizable magic resistance. Overall, they are slightly better than regular Trolls in most regards. However, as you can see there, the speed is abysmal. So finding a way to get these guys into combat safely is going to be the primary challenge of using them. Also up here, you'll see the Feral Wyvern making its way into the Overhaul. This is a pretty decent flyer, somewhere between a Great Eagle and a Sun Dragon in terms of effectiveness. It does have that poison, scaly skin and a decent armor piercing value. Bear in mind though, as it's feral, it is liable to rampage. Lastly, we've got the Artillery, the Doom Diver and the Rock Lobber you guys will know, and a new unit here, the Spear Chucker. This provides the Greenskins with a long range anti-large unit, and as you can see, it's got some absolutely wonderful textures courtesy of our team member Decomposed. So these are the shared units. Now let's take a look at the Goblins. The Goblins will come with 3 lord types: the Great Goblin Shaman, the Night Goblin Warboss and the Forest Goblin Warboss, who is a new addition mounted here on an Arachnarok Spider. They gain access to all the standard heroes as well as a large number of Goblin based units, which we'll look into now. Firstly, we've got the Forest Goblins, the Archers in the front, Stabbers and Stickers. Forest Goblin stat lines are overall pretty poor, although their leadership isn't too bad for Goblins. They do come with Vanguard and Strider, but most importantly they have the Spider Venom contact effect, which applies a -15% physical resistance. Spider Riders have been reworked and are a much more defensive unit now. Their job is to simply ride in, pin the enemy down and make sure that that contact effect stays applied. Night Goblins, still pretty much the same as they were. Poison attacks, Stalk and Vanguard. They do have very poor leadership, so you will have to make sure that you keep them near your general until they unlock a tech, and which will basically cure their leadership problems. However, that tech will be expensive. I'll talk about that more in the next video when I go into detail on the new tech tree. Squig Hoppers, pretty much the same as they were, but in the back we've got 2 brand new units, Colossal Squig and the Armoured Colossal Squig. This is an anti-large monster, very decent damage and also, most importantly, very high speed. This means it can seek out enemy large units, get in, deal the damage and then get away before it gets destroyed. Lastly, we're going to have the Goblin Elite. Nasty Skulkers, still the same glass cannon that they were before, and they deal a tremendous amount of damage, but they have extremely low HP and are very generally squishy, so you'll want to get these guys in, deal the damage and then get out ASAP. New addition in the back, the Hill Goblins, come in both the Sticker and the Stabber variety. Due to fighting in the hills, these guys are larger and fight in a more organised fashion. They basically provide the goblins with a fairly decent mid-tier infantry that can be used to anchor the line. So that's the goblins. Now let's take a look at the orcs. So the greenskins will come with access to 3 lore types: the Night Goblin War Boss, the Orc War Boss, and the brand new Orc Great Shaman, providing them with much needed caster lord. In terms of heroes, they gain the Orc War Big Boss, who is an equivalent of the Goblin Big Boss on the campaign map. However, in battle he does come with an anti-large bonus. That said, he can't be mounted, so it's up to you when you're playing the orcs as to which of the agents you wish to recruit. Something important to note about the orcs is that a lot of the units now come with Rampage as standard. Rampage is pretty much perfect for the greenskins in terms of their lore identity, and so I've added it in to the basic units: the Boar Boys, Stickers, Stabbers, and the Orc Arrow Boys. There is, however, a way to counter this via the War Bosses and Big Bosses. They have the Get Back Here ability that prevents Rampage, in addition to providing a small leadership buff. There will be another way, which will be a tech unlock for the big uns, which will basically provide them with a aura that will prevent Rampage for nearby units. And again, I'll speak more about that in the next update. Looking at the big uns, getting a bit loud here. The Bigger Armada is no longer simply an anti-large bonus, it's now an actual ability, and that provides plus 10% weapon damage, AP damage, and 10 melee attack, and that will be constant so long as their leadership is not lower than 50%. This means that they're basically a good general all-round unit, which I kind of feel is what the description was trying to explain. Black Orcs, there is now a new unit. Regular Black Orcs come with sword and shield, huge armor value, missile block chance, and they still do have that armor piercing ability. However, the Black Orcs with the great weapons will have a much higher weapon strength, as well as that anti-infantry bonus. Orc Boar Biggins are pretty much the same, other than having that change to the Bigger and Arder ability. And as I say, these guys will also be able to gain the aura that prevents Rampage. In the corner you may notice I've shoved the Night Goblins in. That's just to show that the Orcs will gain access to the Night Goblin units. They don't, however, gain access to the Forest Goblins or the Goblin Elite. So there is some crossover between the different sub-factions, and that should make for some nice, unique campaigns. Let's take a quick look at the Savage Orcs. So for the Savage Orcs, they do come with access to 3 different lore types: the Forest Goblin War Boss, the Savage Orc Great Shaman, and the Savage Orc War Boss, seen here mounted on the Wyvern. They also gain access to the Savage Orc Big Boss Hero, very similar to the Orc one just shown. Savage Orcs, like regular Orcs, do have the Rampage attribute, and again that can be countered in the same ways as I just described for the Orcs. Savage Orc Stickers are one of the new units, and another one is the Savage Orc Big Uns with looted axes. These come with armor piercing and an anti-infantry bonus. Not quite Black Orc level, but they will provide the Savage Orcs with that much needed armor piercing melee infantry. The idea behind these guys is that they loot the axes from the corpses of those they killed in battle, since Savage Orcs aren't exactly known for crafting decent steel weapons. The other unit to point out is the Savage Orc Big and Arrow Boys. Like standard Arrow Boys, they're non-armor piercing, however they do come with the Shield Breaker attribute for their missile damage, so mix a unit of these in with your regular archers and you will be able to get through enemy shields pretty quickly. The Savage Orcs don't gain access to the Night Goblin infantry or Night Goblin units or the Goblin Elite, however they do gain access to the Forest Goblins, who they share a somewhat similar culture with, being a bit mad and savage. So those are all the new units. There's one final thing to show you, but I'll be demonstrating that next week with the new tech trees. So let's now take a look at the changes to the campaign map. So I've started up a quick Grimgore campaign, and now I'm going to run through the campaign changes and the reasoning behind them. One of the problems I've had when playing as the Greenskins is that they don't really play any differently from any of the other factions. In the lore, the Greenskins are supposed to be this extremely aggressive race, whose culture revolves around finding a good scrap. With the changes I've made, playing aggressively on the campaign map is no longer an option. It is the only option if you wish to succeed. So firstly, Greenskins now use teeth instead of gold as their currency. As you can see here, they receive no background income and no income from any buildings, with a couple of exceptions. They also have no unit upkeep and very low recruitment costs for their units. This means that if you want to gain more teeth, which are going to be needed for buildings, units and technologies, then you'll need to go out there and take them. This is done via raiding, winning battles and sacking or looting settlements. Turtling up is no longer an option, forcing you to adopt an aggressive campaign playstyle. To help with this, there are a number of ways to improve the amount of teeth gained from these methods, including an improved raiding stance, building bonuses, lord skills and followers. So importantly, the Greenskin race now all come with a 100% bonus to their raiding. To initiate raiding, you adopt the new raiding stance, and this now doesn't require any movement points to enter, and offers significant improvements to the public order and growth penalties. So in other words, so long as you are not in forced march, you can go into raiding stance at the end of each turn. If your forces are on the offensive, you can expect a decent constant income that can be continuously improved, making it viable throughout the campaign. The main way of improving this income is through the economic buildings. These bonuses provided will stack, meaning as long as you expand your territory and continue to recruit more armies, you can continue to improve your income so long as you remain aggressive. Now let's take a quick look at the other buildings. So we're going to run through the rest of these buildings. The first thing you'll notice is the gold mine is providing you with a plus 50 income going up to 150. The gemstone mine is exactly the same, and these are the only two buildings that will provide the greenskins with any base income. Looking at the military buildings, you've got your basic muster field, which provides you with access to the basic goblin units, which as I say are uncapped, very cheap to recruit. You've then got your basic orc units, your big guns, and finally your black orcs. These buildings will all provide an increased capacity, and this capacity, along with the small teeth cost, are going to be the primary limits on what you can recruit in the campaign. The Wolf Den is now a single tier, and this will unlock recruitment of all of the Goblin Wolf Rider units, and again, like the basic Goblin units, these are going to be uncapped. Just to let you know that with each tier the costs of upgrading will go up, so in order to gain access to the best units you are going to have to find more teeth. The boar styes are pretty much the same as you'd expect, giving you access to the boar units, and here we have one of the new chains, the Night Goblin chain. Firstly we've got the underground lair, which provides you with access to the basic Night Goblin units. You've then got your squid cages for your squid hoppers and your squid herd. Finally your colossal squid cave and your colossal squid enclosure, which will gain you access to the two top tier units. The Orc Shaman's hut, pretty much the same as it was, providing you with access to both the Night Goblin Shaman and the Orc Shaman. The Goblin Tinkerer bench give you access to that new Spear Chucker along with the Rock Clobber and eventually the Doom Diver. Then you've got the Troll Pits, or Troll Cave I should say, gain you access to Stone Trolls and regular Trolls, followed by the Stomping Grounds, where you'll also get the new Feral Wyvern. The Boss Shack provides you with that bonus to Public Order and Untainted, as well as being able to unlock recruitment of big bosses. And you've also got the Idols, which will provide you with growth and casualty replenishment. So as you can see with regards to the buildings, I haven't decided to add a huge number of new chains, mainly because I didn't really see the point. The whole point of the Greenskin campaign is to be this aggressive playstyle that isn't really so focused on building up economic bonuses, but is much more interested in simply getting out there and doing the big scrap. So with that done, now guys I've got a good idea of how the Greenskins are going to play in the campaign and the kind of playstyle that you're going to need to adopt. So let's take a look at one of the new Lord skill trees. So here you'll see one of the new Lord skill trees, this one for the Night Goblin War Boss. Now I'm going to run through this as if you've never used the Overhaul before. If you have, then you will see some familiar stuff, but you're also going to see a hell of a lot of new stuff as well. So firstly, the top line here, this unlocks an army ability for your lords, and this will provide your entire force with a charge bonus. This can be improved twice over. I've eventually giving you a plus 75% charge bonus and giving your army the ability to cause fear for 60 seconds. There's also a couple of extra skills here that provide bonus income from raiding, sacking and looting settlements and your post-battle loot. Moving down here, we're going to have a look at the red line, which is the army buff line. Now in my overhaul, when you upgrade your units, rather than simply getting a single upgrade, you get 3. These upgrades are unlocked at different points, so you get one initially, the second one at rank 4, and the third and final one at rank 7, and they will automatically unlock. You also get 2 choices when you choose to upgrade a certain type of unit. So here, for example, we can make all non-spear infantry more aggressively focused with the Get 'em skill, or we can make them more defensively focused with the Mina and Arda skill. For the greenskins, every single unit is covered and they are divided into 6 categories with a total of 12 choices. There are also a few connector skills such as Reinforce the Ranks and Strict Training Regime, which again, those who've used the mod will be familiar with. The blue line is very interesting in that you now recruit all followers from the blue line. This means that there are no randomly dropped followers throughout the campaign. I've also added 8 brand new followers, so when you make a choice, you'll get a choice of 4, which I'll show you now. Just quickly, the battle preparation skills. Those who've used the mod are familiar with these, where you can improve your forces versus up to 3 different race types. So here, for example, I'm probably going with greenskins, fighting the other greenskin factions. So recruit a follower. When you choose the skill, you'll then close this, and you'll get a choice of 4 different followers to choose from. Here, for example, we've got the Swindler, who gives me a better chance of stealing a magical item and slightly increasing my post-battle loot. The Snotly and Scavengers, which give me a decent increase to sacking settlements. The Platings, which is one of the new followers, and that provides a bonus versus infantry for any giants in the army. And finally, the Dung Shoveler, who provides a growth bonus to all provinces. So, given this was an early campaign, I'd probably go with the Dung Shoveler. Once selected, they will appear in the next turn. So the other skills on the blue line, bonuses to research or construction time and cost reductions, choosing lightning strike or an increased casualty replenishment rate, and increasing your ambush success chance, or decreasing the attrition that you suffer from bad territory. So those 3 lines looked at. Now for the really interesting one, and something that is brand new to this mod, which is called Lord Subtypes. So the Night Goblin War Boss gets 3 Lord Subtypes. He could either choose to specialise as an Overseer, which is used to specialise in commanding the Night Goblins from a safe position. It basically provides bonuses to the Night Goblin infantry, as well as campaign bonuses. You could choose to upgrade him as a Squig Fiend. As expected, this will provide him with a number of bonuses to his Squig units, as well as unlocking his Squig mount. And lastly, there's the Brewmaster, which is designed to be a melee specialist and also create some fun brews. So I'll run through each of these lines so you get a good idea of what they're going to do. So the Overseer provides that aura leadership effect straight away. You then get some bonuses for your Night Goblin infantry, an increase to ambush success chance, an increase to the campaign movement range of your army, and this one, which is a pretty special one, it's called Too Important to Risk, and this provides something new to the mod, which is a unit of bodyguards. So the Night Goblin, as you can see here, the War Boss will be at the back and his bodyguards will be up front, and they will basically provide him with a nice HP buff and make it much more difficult to kill the actual Lord. You've then got some extra bonuses, weapon and missile damage for the Night Goblin infantry, the Spite of the Bad Moon ability, and absolute dominance, which will provide your entire army with a solid leadership bonus. For the Squig Fiend, you get bonuses for your Squigs, unlocking the mount. You then get more bonuses for Squigs, a campaign replenishment rate bonus, a really nice ward save for your Squig units, and a really exciting new skill called Explosive Squigs. Explosive Squig will give you an ability that allows you to summon an explosive squig in battle. It functions very similarly to the bloated corpse that you guys might know from the Vampire Coast faction, and once summoned you send it into an enemy unit like so, and he explodes, killing a large number of enemies. Finally, you get the Chomp 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 ability, which will provide you with an armor piercing bonus for all Squig units. Lastly, you've got the Brewmaster line, which I'll select now. This basically provides your Night Goblin War Boss with a lot of additional bonuses to his personal combat skills, including hit points, armor piercing damage, melee defense, and finally a big Lord save. So if you are looking for a duelist, then this is the one to go for. Bear in mind you won't get access to that mount or those bodyguards. He's also got 3 special skills called Let's Brew Something Special. One of them allows you to create an explosive brew, another allows you to create a buff or debuff, and finally you can also create a healing brew. When chosen, these skills will bring up a dilemma box and you'll be able to customise your brew to an extent. Here for example we can add a Flamespire Phoenix Feather to give it the burnt contact effect, some infused larvae for an insect swarm effect, the rare white diamond for the dazed effect, and finally some Banshee Slime for the haunting visions effect. Once selected, this will add an ancillary to your boss, and then that will appear as an ability that you can use in battle. So as you can see, with each Lord having potentially up to 3 different subtypes, this is going to give you a huge amount of choice in how you upgrade your Lords and the kind of units that you're going to want to recruit in their army. So that's all I have to show you guys today. In the next preview video we're going to be looking at the new Legendary Lord skill trees along with the brand new tech tree, which I'm very excited to share with you. I hope to have this update released within the next 7 to 10 days, and I'll definitely have it out before the next DLC drops. So until next time, I'm Lucky Spade, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.